Good evening, everybody. I am Statman Stubbs. You are watching another podcast. This is Rivals Point of View. We are previewing the Monday night game live on Sky Sports. It's an 8 p.m. kickoff. It's Leicester City versus Liverpool at the King Power Stadium. Looking forward to this one. I've got some guests waiting backstage. So without further ado, let's get straight on with the show. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. How is everyone this Friday evening? It's another episode of Rivals Point of View. This is the Leicester City preview. Like I said before the intro there, we are previewing Monday night's game. It's an 8 p.m. kickoff live on Sky Sports from the King Power Stadium. Both teams needing the points, obviously, for different ambitions. Liverpool hopefully getting into that top four, whereas Leicester need to break out of that relegation zone as well. Should be a tough game, and I'm looking forward to this one. Just before we get everyone in, obviously, just say hello to the members. Obviously, Ozan Kabak, yes, he played centre-back. That is his actual name on YouTube. We've got Redbird, we've got Haley, we've got John Conway, and we've got CB as well. So without further ado, let's get straight on with the show. Let's introduce our guests, and let's bring them on right now. So as you can see, next to myself is LVFC TV, better known as Baz. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm good, thanks. How are you? Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Looking forward to this one. We've got a good range of guests here, 3-on-3 as well. Looking forward to it. No, but thank you as always for coming on, mate, and obviously supporting the channel is appreciated, mate. CB, we'll try and not swear for the first. Have we made it past 16 seconds or so? I don't know, to be honest.
We're on 2 minutes. We're just about to hit 3 minutes, so we're safe.
All right, okay, we're safe. Fair enough. How are you doing, mate, anyway?
I'm all good, man. Thank you very much for having me on, as always. Always a pleasure to come on and talk to you, talk to Baz. Obviously, two excellent guys, but you're also two baldy, cheating, granny shy.
Guys, if you haven't watched the show, it is what it is. I mean, there's no wonder that even though I am monetized, there's no wonder that half the time it's partial monetization or none with CB, of course. But we've got a few.
You just buzz me, Steve.
Well, yeah, I am, to be fair. And as you can see, we've got one of our first Leicester fans, Jack from the Full Time Whistle. First appearance on the show, mate. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm good.
Good. And welcome to the show. Hopefully you enjoy it, mate, and just sit back, relax, have a bit of fun, and just enjoy it. I treat it like as if you were at the pub with your mates, just having a beer and a catch-up. It's just as simple as that, mate. But no, thank you for coming on. We've got Brad. How are you doing, mate?
Doing better than the football team, mate. I can tell you that much. It's good to be on. Thanks for having us on here, mate.
Not a problem at all, mate. Pleasure having you on. And last but not least, we've got Chris from Leicester Till I Die TV. We'll get the subtitles on for you, Chris, but how are you doing, mate?
Living the dream, mate. Living the dream. Can I just say, I don't know what CB said, because all I understood was fucking backing shagging bastard at the end. I didn't understand any other of it. And if I'm a bit slow answering, it's because on my other screen I've got a little woman doing beside me. She could only do half of what CB said anyway.
Call him cheating bastard. That's what CB stands for anyway. CB's cheating bastard. So he gets a lot of grief on the channel anyway.
I don't know if anybody can understand him.
That's probably why they come on, just to try and understand what he's saying anyway. But no, there he is.
Thanks for having me on anyway.
No, it's not a problem. And there he is, cheating. Honestly, you're unbelievable. Unbelievable. I love your Christmas hat anyway. Just a little bit too early. You need to change your bio there for
No, I mean, I like a Christmas hat.
He's going to need that this year, man.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, you're going to have to keep that hair warm now. Chris is saying, welcome everyone from LTID TV. Please support both ourselves and Statman channels as well. Subscribing if you're new, smashing those likes. Yeah, appreciate that, Chris. Thank you very much. Let's have a look. Daz saying, big up Statman, John, panel. Hope you're all well today. Yeah, all good. How are you, mate? Redbird saying, evening, guys. Big up Redbird. Daz saying, big up Redbirds. Big up Daz from Redbird, and Hyla's in as well. Hyla is another stat man as well. Loves his stats. So obviously you'll get the ins and outs when Hyla comments as well. So evening to everyone as well. Right, we are here for one reason, and that is the preview of Monday night's game between Leicester City and Liverpool, of course. Both teams needing the points. Obviously, Liverpool to try and break into the top four, as I said. Leicester to try and get out the bottom three. Sorry, fingers crossed you can do it at the expense of our blue neighbours, because that would be fantastic. Yeah, fingers crossed. But we'll start with, as we always do on the channel when we do these rivals' point of view, head to head. So, Jack, I'll come to you. Head to head wise, just in the Premier League, this is all Premier League era. Do you think you are winning that at the moment, or do you think it's Liverpool? Do you think it's quite close? How do you think it is? Just as a rough guess.
You'd say Liverpool, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you'd think
Liverpool,
so.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we've beat you a few times at the King Power, but I think Liverpool's got the record over Anfield and KP.
Yeah, fair enough. So yeah, what about yourself, Brad? Are you in that same predicament that you think it would be Liverpool just off experience alone, or?
I actually think it's a little bit closer than that. I think we managed to get a few wins against you in the Filbert Street days, more at Anfield actually, and we probably held you out or beat you at Filbert Street. It's just that when we do seem to lose to you, it's badly. Always goals around.
Yeah,
I think you'd look at it and you'd say surely Liverpool have the edge, but I don't think it's as far apart as people may be thinking. I'm gonna throw a spanner in the works and probably say that there's probably draws are a high number on there as well.
We'll wait and see. There's been, let's have a look. It is actually quite close, to be honest. It is quite close. So just to let everyone else know, there's been 97 Premier League games between the two sides. Liverpool have won 42, Leicester have won 34, and there's been 21 draws. So it is quite close. Where it isn't as close is Liverpool have won 27 games. This is across Filbert Street and obviously King Power. Leicester have won 11, and there's been 12 draws. Chris, I'll come to yourself. Are you surprised at that head-to-head record between the two sides in Premier League era?
I'm very surprised, because according to my stats, we've played 33 times in the Premier League.
Right.
And 97, are you sure that's not we've played? Because, well, on the Premier League website, it says 33 times we've played. We've won 9 and you've won 18. So you have got, a hell of a lot more wins than we have. Draws are 6.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're obviously looking at different stats. But
yeah, definitely.
I think it was always going to be you're going to have one more. I mean, look at who you are and look at who we are. To take sort of the championship winning season out, and apart from the odd game here and there, you've always been the better team. Yeah. Even if we've got to score the goals for you.
Definitely, fair enough. I'll just get through some of these comments and I'll come on to Cheating Bastard and Baz in a second. So where are we up to on here? Redbird says the cheating scummy bastard has his own language, but we love him. There you are. So someone's got to.
Someone loves me, Redbird.
Yeah, exactly. How can a team with players like Leicester have been in the relegation zone? Klopp couldn't have done that with both hands on his back and his eyes blinded, says Hyla. Maisie's in. Evening, Maisie. Hope you're well. Good evening, all. Good evening, Maisie. Hope you are well. Please go and check out Maisie's channel. She is an up-and-coming YouTuber as well, so she's doing very well. Daz, thank you very much. You became a YouTube member, so anyone that does want to become a member of the channel, I do appreciate it. You can start from £1.99 and become a member of the channel. It is appreciated, so thank you very much, Daz, for doing that. Much appreciated. Hi, Maisie. Hope you're well. Let's have a look. I'm okay, Daz. Thank you. How are you? Evening, Maisie. Are you spying on us Reds again? Says Redbird. Endsman's in, another great channel, another good friend of the show. Big up, lads, and big up panel as well. Big up, and go and check out Endsman's channel as well. Redbird, I love to report to my new owner Jim Ratcliffe about you as well. Jesus Christ. Jesus. I'm okay, Maisie. Was meant to do a show today, but forgot. I'm sure you'll do it at some point. Your ends. Only reason why Liverpool beat Leicester the last time was the own goal twice. Yes, we're definitely going to get on about that as well. You couldn't do this in a movie as people wouldn't believe it as well. Let's have a look. Endsman, Redbird, big up Endsman, Maisie. Let's get through these and then we'll get straight on to a big up, bro. Maisie, how do you think you will do it? A music quiz? Haley, my wife's saying, evening, Haley. Looking forward to having a few drinks after this.
Big up, evening, bastard.
Hi, Haley, as well. Big up, everyone. Right, okay. So, last 5 meetings at the King Power. This is where it gets interesting. Then I'll get CB's and Baz's opinion in just a second. So, 28th of December 2021, Leicester won by 1-0. The 13th of February 2021, Leicester won 3-1. The 26th of December 2019, which is the last time Liverpool beat Leicester, was Leicester 0, Liverpool 4. The 1st of September 2018, Leicester 1, Liverpool 2. And then the 23rd of September 2017, Leicester 2, Liverpool 3. Cheating bastard, obviously, looking at that now, obviously Leicester City have won the last 2 games at the King Power. What's your overall thoughts on the last 5 meetings at the King Power?
But to me, the King Power has always been a stadium that I don't ever like going to. I always remember the game where I think it was Jimmy Vardy tipped the ball over, was it Mignolet? Mignolet's head from about 40 yards out. It was.
Oh, that was a while ago. That was a 2-0 victory.
It was, yeah. But I mean, ever since then, there's just something about Leicester I don't like ever going to. But I also remember the game where we just came back from the Club World Cup. And I remember Trent Screamer from outside the box.
That was a 4-0 win, yeah. That was back in 2019.
We ripped Leicester apart that season. That was the season we won the league, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Aye, it was that game that convinced me that the league was ours. I knew from that game onwards that we won the league.
Yeah.
So I'd had a very long time celebrating Liverpool winning their first Premier League trophy, but 19 league titles in total.
Yeah.
But it's very, very hard ground to go to. It's you don't know what to expect with Leicester, especially with the new manager. They have done. They have maybe started to come into a wee bit of form. Not great, but a wee bit.
Yeah.
So, and we know we're legacy, especially away from home this season. We haven't been great at all. It's these kind of teams that normally do surprise us. That we just don't show up and we don't pay them enough respect.
Yeah.
Now, at the end of the day, Leicester are a Premier League winning team. You have to pay them the respect they're due. So even though they are looking as more like a championship team than a Premier League team. I mean, the upper challenger for Champions League football, and all of a sudden they're getting threatened with relegation.
It's crazy.
They're safe. I think they are safe, but you just don't know what can happen. Well, crazy things happen in football.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. Baz, what about yourself? Obviously, thoughts on the last 5 fixtures at the King Power?
They've been tight. They've been very tight, to be fair. Like John says, I mean, Leicester City is never an easy team for Liverpool to play. I can remember some of their players that they've had, like the Elliott's, that big solid defender. You obviously like more up to date, like with Vardy's and Maddison's and Dewsbury Halls and Harvey Barnes and all these players. They've got some brilliant players, and with our back line, you know what I mean? They do tend to cause us problems. You know what I mean? It's never an easy game. It never is. You know what I mean? You just have to look at the last game we played at Anfield. You know what I mean? We didn't have it all our way there. Do you know what I mean?
No.
So, you know, it's look at the end of the day, the league doesn't lie. They're not. Leicester City are not doing great at the minute, but they're not out. You know what I mean? They're not out. This is a game where, you know, I mean, it depends. They're playing at, you know, in front of their fans, and if they want it more, they'll get a result. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough. Haley saying, make sure you're liking the videos, please, everyone. And saying Daz was good. I think the boys are ready. Chris, you're not the only one. Where can I find a translator for this? I'm in the dark here, says Hyla. So Hyla's saying that as well. And obviously, Chris, you're getting involved as well. Not just me, then Hyla. Tally ho ends, dear boy. I'm going 4-0. We'll discuss obviously predictions near the end, but that's what you're saying. Redbird, big up Redbird. There's Ends YouTube channel if you want to go and subscribe. And please, I've put the links for everyone's YouTube channels in the description of this video, so please go and check them out as well. We'll obviously give a bit of time at the end, obviously, for everyone to just plug the channels, etc., like we always do anyway, and support each other channels as well. So yeah, please go and support everyone's channels. Liverpool should sign. I don't want Maddison, to be honest. I really don't. Got Geordie boys. Come on, guys, like the vid. Big up, Geordie boys. Hope you're well. Let's have a look. There's Maisie's channel. Geordie boys saying, "Come on, Leicester, do us a favour and beat Liverpool. Come on, Geordie boys. Now. Right. So we've gone on to the last 5 meetings. We've discussed the head-to-head. So we'll discuss, obviously, the last time out. Obviously, it was a 2-1 victory for Liverpool at Anfield, but that doesn't tell the whole story. Wout Fais, I think that's how you pronounce it. Apologies if it's not. Obviously, 2 own goals. Goes into the record books alongside Jamie Carragher, most own goals scored in a game. Brad, I'll come to yourself first of all, mate. What do you remember most about the 2-1 defeat at Anfield earlier on in the season, mate?
Me personally, I remember being sat in the pub thinking I've come into the wrong pub here because I was surrounded by nothing but cheating bastard Liverpool fans. But no, it was one of them, and you know, people ask us about seasons gone by and that, and you know, when we won the league title, I said, if you look back over that season, a game that defined how our season went out from that point forward, it was the Aston Villa game where we were 2-0 down with 20 minutes to go and we won the game 3-2. Leicester never knew they'll beat. We all know what happened. That game kind of summed up what followed for the rest of this season, unfortunately for us. It seems that even when we gave absolutely everything, it still went wrong. And it's been the story of our season. The effort was there, we got in front, and then Leicester have done it all season. We must have holes in our feet because we shoot ourselves in the foot so many times. Every game, it feels like this season, we find a way to beat ourselves more times than not. I mean, I probably at the start of the season when we had them ridiculous losses to like Brighton and Tottenham, probably them games aside, I can't think of a game genuinely where we haven't played a massive part in our own defeat and downfall. I mean, 2 own goals. You score 3 goals away from home. If I told anybody else that and thinking, hey, we must have got something from it. No, we lost 2-1. It was a frustrating game to watch because we should have got something. And I'll be honest with you, the pub I was in was quite friendly. And I had Liverpool fans come up to me going, you know what, we didn't deserve that. So it was a harder one to take because it was the one game this season that I've seen a committed effort. And we didn't come away with anything. Fair
enough, mate. Fair enough. I know Chris has obviously put this in already, but Hyla says, anyone want to try and have a guess at that other than saying top? Because that's a cop out, Chris. Anyone want to have a how do you even say that?
Well, I'm surprised someone from Liverpool is trying to learn English. I mean, I didn't think you were English.
No, Hyla's from Germany.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he is. He's from Germany. Yeah. But
we just call him Top. It's easier.
Top. Fair enough. Baz, obviously, I'll come to you as well. Obviously, Liverpool not even edging it. We were poor. No doubt about it. We got very, very lucky indeed. What was your thoughts on the overall game? And was it just a case of Liverpool very, very lucky and take the 3 points and we go again, basically. What was your thoughts on the game, mate?
Yeah, pretty much so. We didn't score no goals in that game, did we? They did.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, I was looking at some of the stats, you know what I mean? Like possession, passing, stuff like that. It wasn't typical Liverpool, you know what I mean? Like good Liverpool.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just Liverpool, Leicester City, you know, they played well. It's just unfortunate, like, you know, it just went that way. Like, you know, my fella down there was saying, it's just literally it was one of those, you know what, we're lucky. We got 3 points. Let's get out of here. Do you know what I mean? It was pretty much one of those ones. I didn't see anything special except, you know what I mean, with the 3 points. And even then, you know what I mean, it was like, it's not good.
Yeah, fair enough. Chris, I'll come to yourself again. I don't know if you were lucky enough to go to the game or you just watching it on TV, but what was your thoughts on the game at Anfield earlier on in the season, Chris?
Oh, I had the joy of doing a watch along to it. I mean, Brad said it all. It does somehow a season up, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, the guys that have been saying some very nice things about Leicester, obviously, you know, I mean, you've not watched them this season because we've been absolute shit, you know. And you know, if you looked at the last result and went, "Oh, look, 5-3, that must have been a really exciting and close game." No, it wasn't. We, as I say, literally in that 90 minutes, you summed up our season, and I can't blame FaZe for both of those because, as far as he's concerned, with the first one, he's trying to just boot it into Rose Ed.
Yeah.
And he just hit it wrong. Now, if he hadn't tried to boot it into Rose Ed, he would have taken brick back. So fair play to him for trying that. And the second one bounced off the post and hit him and went in. I can remember was it again? I think it was the winning season when it happened with Schlupp, and it kind of bounced off him and went in. Look, when your luck's going against you, it's going against you, and it's. It's just the way to say it. Then it was just one of those games. We looked half decent apart from that, but you know, again, somebody said earlier, who wants it more? Well, I tell you what, I don't think there's one Leicester player that's in the starting 11 or sat on the subs bench that will want it. I'd sooner have the Powder Puff Girls playing for us, you know, Monday night than any of our players. That's how bad we are at the moment.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Jack, obviously, what's your thoughts? What was your thoughts on the game? Was it a little bit disappointed? Probably, like the guys have said, especially the Leicester guys, it's pride, but obviously unfortunate not to come away with anything in the end.
Just sitting there waiting that night, I felt pissed off. You know, Dewsbury Hall scored early on. I thought Leicester started the game really well. But then again, it's like Chris said, it summed up our season. It went against us. We did it to ourselves. We handed Liverpool 3 points, which they didn't deserve. I don't think Liverpool was at the greatest at Anfield that night. And Wout Faes were the striker for you that night, weren't Mo Salah scoring the goals at Wout Faes, 2 own goals. The first one, he potentially could have left it for Danny Ward, but Danny Ward's got to command his area. He's got to be more vocal about that sort of situation, and it wasn't. And it's like the defence didn't trust Danny Ward enough. They didn't have confidence in him that night at Liverpool, and I think that's where the mistakes came. But yeah, overall, it was a bit of a flattering performance at the end. It flattened us. We didn't deserve to lose. We did, and it summed up our season. But when talking to Liverpool fans after the game, they said that we didn't deserve that. You deserve better in the game. But that's what you get with Brendan Rodgers when he goes back to his former clubs, isn't it? You know what I mean? He seems to always hand his former clubs points and stuff like that. And I think it really summed up our season that night, to be fair. And we lost. So
definitely
then,
fair enough.
We've not been no better.
Danny Ward, obviously ex-Liverpool goalkeeper as well. So obviously you can factor that in as well. CB, obviously you've waited very patiently there, so appreciate it. What was your thoughts on the game? Obviously you were in the watch along when I done it earlier on in the season, but I remember obviously after once a full-time whistle, it was a bit of a sigh of relief, wasn't it?
It was, mate. It was. Like Chris was saying, I do genuinely believe Liverpool get very lucky in that game. We didn't deserve to win it at all.
Yeah.
I don't even think we showed up in that game. Maybe the only decent player for us during that game was probably Darwin Núñez. So it was, and yeah, he's actually gave a wee bit of effort. He tried, where the rest of them just they looked as if they couldn't care.
Yeah.
So we were very lucky to get away with the 3 points. Leicester were very unlucky. So I do apologise for that. But
give us the 3 points back.
No.
No. We're keeping them. We need them for the top 4. But I was in the cricket saying about Danny Ward. I think Danny Ward is come under very harsh criticism this season. He's a lot better of a goalkeeper than people give him credit for.
I think Everson's better though. For me personally, I think Everson's better.
I don't think he is. I think Danny Ward is a very, very quality goalkeeper. He's good enough for Leicester, at least. Is he good enough for Liverpool Football Club? No, that's why he's moved on. But he's a good goalkeeper for Leicester. As long as you give him a chance, you have to give that guy a chance. And then if he's walking at the stadium where 80-90% of fans are against him, what chance does he stand?
Yeah, exactly.
Can I just come back on that point about Ward?
Yeah, go ahead, mate. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I just want to say, because I was very much pushing for Ward to take over at the start of the season. Somebody said in the chat about Schmeichel going, and fans have different thoughts about it. For me, it was his time to go. He was awful at the end of last season. I thought he'd got a part in a play as Dracula because he was scared for crosses. Then, other people say, well, he'd fallen out with Rodgers. I don't know. But for me, his time had come. Ward was the obvious number 1 to come in because he was the number 2. But because Schmeichel had been so good, had hardly got any injuries, he'd only played 1 Premier League game ever since he's joined us before taking over. And no matter how good your goalkeeper is, if the defence in front of you is shite, you're going to be shite.
Yes.
You cannot stop everything. And you look at that defence that we had at the start of the season. Amati at left centre-back at one point. It was awful. It was absolutely awful, our defence. So he was, like I say, Superman couldn't. Well, Jesus supposed to save, and he couldn't have done any better than Ward with those 4 in front of him. But that said, he should have been taken out the firing line, no pun intended, a lot earlier. And Everson, since he's come in, we've not particularly done any better, but he kept us in games and made some absolutely superb saves. I think Ward will probably move on now, because I think Everson has taken over from him, and he is the obvious one to go forward. But I feel sorry for Ward because, like I say, he came in when he had, like I say, awful people in front of him.
Yeah, just obviously, sorry, just to
it's all right.
Finish my point. I do generally believe in Ward. I think he's a quality goalkeeper. And it'd be a shame to see him leave Leicester, because I think Leicester would actually regret that afterwards. He was always set up the field, especially after Schmeichel left, because having gone from a goalkeeper that won you a league, that's always been set up the field, in my opinion. But in terms of Brendan Rodgers, I've always said about Brendan Rodgers. Now, I've seen him as a Liverpool manager. I've watched him very closely as a Celtic manager up in Scotland. And for me, he's got a 2-year shelf life. After 2 years, he's done. He cannot sustain that level of football. Last season, he shocked me. I thought he would have this season would happen last year, and it didn't. So he did shock me last year. But he's got a shelf life in 2 years, in my opinion.
Okay, fair enough. We'll move on. Just get through some more of these comments because they're coming in thick and fast. So appreciate it, guys. K-Mac channel. Big up K-Mac. Thanks for tuning in. And there's another YouTube channel there. Appreciate that, Daz. Big up K-Mac. No disrespect, but Ward isn't amongst the best 15 goalkeepers in the Premier League. I dare you to call me out on that.
I call you it all day, mate. I call you it all day.
You know what he is? He's John is just basically a Jurgen Klopp man with Henderson. Yeah. He is.
We'll go on anyway.
I nodded my head, but I just did not get any of it at all.
You're probably best. You're probably best, mate.
Sentimental. He's just very sentimental. That's what he is.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. He loves Juve. El has Juve. Still loves him.
Oh, yeah.
If he had a go at Brendan, I've got to agree with him. I'll just say.
Yeah, exactly. That's another signing that went wrong, definitely. We'll move on anyway. Like we've already mentioned, Liverpool haven't won the last 2 meetings at the King Power Stadium. Different fortunes this season, of course. Leicester City currently in the bottom 3. Liverpool just 1 point outside the top 4. Obviously, there's some difficult games coming up. Obviously, Leicester have got Liverpool at home, then Newcastle away. Who's your last game of the season against, boys?
West Ham.
West Ham at home.
Yeah,
so that's winnable. That's winnable, but
we said that about Fulham and Everton.
Yeah, well, it is winnable, and West Ham could be safe by then as well. But yeah, I mean,
safe now. I think West Ham.
Baz, I'll come to you first of all. Obviously, this is a difficult game for both sides. Obviously, like I say, contrast in performances, etc. It really is a difficult game. I don't know about yourself, but are you in the same assumption that if Liverpool win this game, then they'll probably win the other 2 as well and potentially have a great chance at top 4? Or are you seeing this one being the most difficult game left this season, mate?
Do you know what? There's no easy games in this. We've got 3 games. We've got Aston. We've got you guys. I mean Leicester. We got Aston Villa. And we've got Southampton. Those are our remaining fixtures. But you see this league and how things are at the bottom. Like if Southampton win their game or they get a positive result, they're still fighting. Do you know what I mean? So they're going to be difficult. Leicester as well. Leicester, these clubs that are there at the moment, they could just jump out. With like maybe 2 wins or a win and a draw or something like that. So it's anything can happen. Anything can happen. So I think with Leicester, Leicester's definitely the team that I worry about the most because you know what? They're 18th at the minute, yeah? So, Everton's there and then you've got Nottingham Forest. But when I'm looking at the table and just the little dots with it,
yeah.
They, out of the bottom 3, they've drawn 2 and won 1, whereas Leeds have lost all of theirs and they've drawn 1, and then Southampton lost, drawn, lost. So if you're looking at that in terms of form, then that shows that they're the team that are more likely to do something. Do you know what I mean? But then you've got Everton as well. It's very difficult. And like I said before, like Leicester City, we don't always have it our way against them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're going to make it difficult, and even more now because they need to stay up. It's as simple as that. They just need to stay up. They're Premier League, a Premier League team. They've won the Premier League as well. And yes, that might be a little while back now, but they're a team that, I wouldn't say it's not that they deserve to be there, but you know what I mean. They've been proven in the Premier League over the years. Do you know what I mean? So I worry a lot about it, and I'm also looking at their fixtures as well. They're gonna need to get something out of these games. You know what I mean? And they've got Newcastle, they've got Liverpool, and then obviously they've got West Ham. So it's tough. It's tough, but I'm not confident in this game. I'm not confident. And in terms of the top 4 thing, you guys know my views. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think we just. I'm actually not going to bother saying that. What I'm just going to say is it just gives us an opportunity. You know what I mean? To put Man United and Newcastle, but
definitely. Fair enough, Jack. I'll come to yourself. I mean, looking at the fixtures, like I say, obviously after Monday night's game, Newcastle away, West Ham at home. I mean, if you look at Everton's games as well, they've got obviously Man City on Sunday, then Wolves away, which won't be easy. Do you think it potentially does go down to that last game of the season? Obviously, with you at home to West Ham, do you see yourself staying up on the last game of the season?
It's a tough one to talk about. You know, we played Bournemouth, played Leeds, played Everton, played Fulham, and we always said to ourselves it's a must-win game. We can't afford to keep dropping points. And it's been the same scenario. We've been on a roundabout, in it, where we should have been winning the games, but we didn't. Summed us up at Fulham, didn't it? That there's no fight in the team, no passion, the players don't care, and it's been that sort of scenario. And we got a thrashing against Fulham because we deserved it. You know, Fulham a good side. People wrote them off saying, "Oh yeah, they ain't got Mitrovic." It don't matter if you've not got Mitrovic. It's like Liverpool without Salah. Do you know what I mean? You still won games without your key player. But for me, it felt like the final nail in the coffin after the Fulham performance. It just feels like, how do we now come back from this? It's out of our hands now. It's not in our hands anymore. We've had so many chances to win games and we haven't. I guess we've been lucky against Leeds, lucky against Everton, that we haven't lost them games. But this Liverpool game is a difficult game. And if you beat us, then, you know, it's where do you go from there? You know, you're going to be looking at Plymouth Argyle away next season, aren't you, at the end of the day? And as Leicester fans, we can only hope in our hearts, but our head, it's like we're down, innit? You know what I mean? It's like if the players ain't willing to show that fight and determination and that, then what's the point? They might as well have just give up now. But, you know, that Liverpool, they'll be licking their lips going into this one, to be fair, the players. Salah hasn't had the greatest of season, I don't feel. But Jota loves a goal against Leicester. So I feel that Liverpool, if they score first, then our heads are going to be like the same as the Fulham game, where we could end up where good hiding at the end of it, because that's what happens with Leicester 9 times out of 10. We're always conceding first and then we lose. So I'm expecting a very difficult game. You know, you couldn't have gave us the hardest games difficult. Liverpool difficult, Newcastle, they want Champions League football. They're a very difficult side this season. They're pasting teams. West Ham won last night in the first leg of the semi-finals. If they win that second leg, they'll want to beat Leicester. It's not about 50-50. Leicester have got to show fight now and really go at Liverpool. If they don't show fight on Monday night, then I just don't see the point. And to be honest, teams play before us now, innit? Everton, Forest, Leeds. They play this weekend, next weekend. And so if they start picking up points, we could be relegated by the Newcastle game before we even play.
God, fingers crossed for you. I'd like to see just. I mean, I suppose obviously with you guys being Leicester fans, you probably don't want to see it to go to the last game of the season. You want to be safe.
No.
And, obviously, just be able to enjoy the last game, but it's looking that way at the minute. You just never know.
A bit of super buzz for them, though. I mean, like if they do, you know, because West Ham, like you just quite rightly said, Jack, you know, they're playing European football, but you know what I mean, that they don't have a strong squad, you know what I mean, and it's like towards the end of the season, so you know, you guys can potentially do something on that day, you know what I mean?
I think with West Ham, though, they'll want to, if they do get to the final, they won't want to go with a lose under their belt. They'll want to go with a win to give them the confidence to go into the final and play well.
Possibly. Or they could be resting their players ready for that final.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? Cheating bastard, are you still there?
Yes, mate. Yes.
You're there. All right, okay. What's your thoughts going into the game on Monday evening? Do you think this is out of the 3 games, do you think this is the toughest one left? Because obviously you'd like to think we'll beat Villa at home. We've got a really good record at home. And then Southampton, like I say, if they need to pick up 3 victories out of the last 3 games, which I don't personally say they're 8 points behind at this moment in time. So Southampton are down, in my opinion, even if they don't win this weekend, they're down. So do you think this game, Monday night, obviously under the lights at the King Power, we can't underestimate them? It's probably our toughest game left.
No, we definitely can't underestimate them. Is it our toughest game left this season? I don't think it is. I believe Emery's Aston Villa team is a harder game. because
I don't see that.
We know the kind of manager Emery is. He's very difficult to beat. He's very unpredictable. So he is. So I believe that's a harder game than Aston Villa.
Right.
We're wrong. We can't underestimate them. We need to go in there and show them the respect they do deserve. But can we win it? 100%. And I do believe we'll win it very comfortably. I'm not going to give away my prediction because
I already know what your prediction is.
Already have.
I think my prediction may shock a few people, especially.
Oh yeah, it won't. If people watch the show, it definitely won't. It won't shock many people, to be honest. Good evening to yourself, mate. An angle in the sky won't help us win. We have to show fight and passion, even if we lose. At least try or something. Big up, mate. Big up, Doug. All good. Cheers. Tally ho says Gaz. Let me have a look. Yeah, all good here. We're expecting a baby boy in September. So all blue from here. Very true, says Chris. Hi, Doug, says Redbird. Simicast, 27 years. Happy birthday to the Greek Scouser. Let's have a look. There's Doug's YouTube channel, so please go and subscribe to his channel. Haley says, congrats. Boys are fab. 4 of my 5 kiddies are boys. So yeah, exactly. They're a lot of hard work. Trust me. But no, Brad, I'll come to yourself. I mean, what's your sort of take? I know obviously Leicester have had a bad season. We can't obviously get away from that. But I mean, do you still have hope that there's at least 1, if not 2 more performances that you can pull out the bag from now till the end of the season?
Yeah, I mean, on a personal level, I'll always have that hope that there's a performance in there because we have seen that performance appear throughout the season. Otherwise, we'd be dead and buried like Southampton. If you can't, what the thing is, we've got to do as fans is we've got to take the same approach that Dean Smith's trying to do with the players, which is put the Fulham game to bed. Because if we go into the next 3 games on the back of thinking, oh well, look how we did against Fulham, we've got no hope, then we might as well chuck in the towel and relegate ourselves. It's not the right mentality to have. The thing is, the hope you do have, and it's such a weird hope, and I don't know if you get kind of desperate when you're in this situation, you probably do, but when the pressure's on Leicester, we seem to capitulate. Couldn't beat Fulham, couldn't beat Everton, couldn't beat Leeds. And it's weird, because now we're the team that are looking at who Everton have got, who Forest have got, and for the moment, while they're still with us, Leeds, who they've got. Obviously, you know, you're expecting Leeds are probably too late with Big Sam, but obviously points-wise, they're still in with a chance, so you can't rule them out as it is. But maybe, just maybe, unlike last week, which Chris had on his channel, he quoted it as Black Monday, maybe Leicester need that to happen in their favour, where Forest lose, or Everton lose, or both of them lose would be ideal. Leeds lose, and then Leicester kind of go, well, we've got nothing to lose. In a sense, everybody's expecting Liverpool to go and batter us 3-4, 5-0. So if we're somehow going into that game on the Monday night and we're still only 2 points away from safety, there's no pressure or expectation because pundits, neutrals have written us off at this point, especially given the performance against Fulham. So I just hope that somehow Dean Smith is able to galvanise the players come Monday night, and we're talking hypotheticals that either at least one of Everton and Fulham, not Fulham because they're stuck in the brain, Everton and Forest have lost, so at least one of the one of the clubs above the relegation zone is catchable. And then you never know, they might use that as an impetus, and if we use it right and we get at Liverpool, you know, we've seen this season from Liverpool. Yes, you're on a great run of form. I think you've won 6 on the bounce.
6 on the bounce, yeah.
But we also know that old Liverpool from the start and midpoint that season's there. And you know, you had that scare against Forest. You rats, you nearly let us down there. You nearly threw that Forest, didn't you? But you know what I mean. You know, and that's all it takes. That's all we can hope for, and that's what we've got to hope we see on Monday. I do feel that if we don't get anything, we're asking too much for Forest and Everton to not pick up a point the following week and really put us in the stick for West Ham. But I do have hope that there's still one last fight in the tank, as a certain Rocky Balboa would say.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep the faith till the end.
You've got to, mate. That's what you've got to do. Chris, obviously, last but not least, again, obviously, when you look at the fixtures, we've already gone through yours. Leeds United have obviously got Newcastle on Saturday. They've got West Ham away, and then they've got another game at home. I honestly think, and I don't know, get your opinion now, but do you think realistically 33 points, which will be one more win for yourself, do you think that may be enough given the other team's fixtures left?
Who knows? I mean, it's a weird. If this was any other season, we'd have been cut adrift about 3 or 4 weeks ago. It is a most ridiculous season going, and I suppose that's the only thing we can hold on to. My worry is that Leeds have got a win in them. We've seen that. Everton, I mean, what they went and did to Brighton, fuck's sake, where does that come from?
No one would ever.
Forest, Forest beat you lot earlier in the season. Cheers for that. And but I can't see us doing that. Now, maybe I'm being down because we have done it against Spurs, but we did it against Wolves. But I think Dean Smith, he's doing his best, but he's taken on a team that is completely devoid of any confidence. I don't think there's anybody that's actually gone in there and said to them, "You shit, what are you doing?" I think Brendan Rodgers spent too much time trying to be nice to them and being their friend. He needed somebody to go in and go, "Look, you're a load of prima donnas. Get your act together. Get out there and show some pride." James Maddison probably should be our best player. All he's bothered about is smiling for the camera. I don't think Leicester. Well, I mean, Doug, who's in the chat, he did a show with us the other day, and he actually had us predicted us to beat Newcastle and beat West Ham. I don't know what he's drinking, but I'd like some. But he did, in fairness, have us to lose to Liverpool. But maybe we had false hope with that Wolves win. Man City were there saying, brilliant. The only thing that is in our favour, I'm looking at our minus 15 goal difference. Leeds minus 25, Everton minus 21, Nottingham Forest minus 31. I think West Ham are safe now. So but we've got we then got Newcastle. That could very, very easily disappear. And, everybody's saying Southampton are out of it. I mean, they've beaten us twice this season. That's how awful we are. I don't know where anything's going to come from. And I've got to the point, and I mentioned this the other day, we have this thing like #fearless. It's #gutless at the moment. So I'm not seeing any player that wants to go out there and fight for the badge and leave themselves on that pitch. Not one of them. And
I would argue Vardy. Vardy's probably the only one. The only one I would give that. That's just me trying to be very optimistic, Chris, and that's just one name.
And I've said this so many times. That Great Escape year, and I travelled from the South Coast up to Leicester and back again for all the home games. I had a season ticket then. Not once did I drive away from the KP thinking, God, the boys didn't put an effort in today. We were losing, but we were putting efforts in. I haven't seen any effort this season. The fact that we beat Spurs wasn't because we were good. It was because Spurs were so fucking awful. Let's be honest, and I've got to the point where I'm actually thinking going down may not be the end of the world because it will give us a chance to get rid of a load of these wankers that reckon to be good Leicester players and get some players in that don't want to sort of come to us because we're giving them £100,000 a week contracts, wherever. They want to come to us because they want to play for a team that not so long ago was winning the Premier League. It seems ages ago now. When we got relegated to the League One, Pearson came in. We had a clear out. If we'd have stayed up that season, I don't think we'd be where we are now. I think us going down actually got us a chance to clear the decks, get some decent players in that would fight for us, and obviously the rest, as I say, is history. So, in a way, if we go down, it might not be the worst thing.
Yeah, Fair enough. There was a question from a fellow Leicester fan here. I'll just get this bring up and just obviously get your guys' opinion. As a neutral, I don't think it is, but obviously I'll leave it to the floor for obviously Jack, Brad, Chris to come in and just give your thoughts on that question.
I'll defer to Brad because he's our goalkeeping.
All right, okay.
Steward.
Take over, Brad.
All right, over to me then, lads. Thanks for tagging me in. I think it's not a reason behind it happening. I think there's a lot of bigger issues that are at the core of Leicester's thing, and me and Chris have to do this a lot because I don't want it ever getting confused, and people love to jump on words and take things out of context. Ask James Madison. You know, we've had issues from the start. There seems to be a lot of secrecy, a lot of miscommunication, pretty much no communication between the hierarchy and Brendan. I mean, he had a press conference interview at the start of the season when it all started going a bit sour. It was in and around the the French Voldemort leaving for his boyhood club Chelsea. And he basically said, well, I was under the impression that he was going to get money to spend in the summer. He'd gone away with his team as you do on a break, and he was like, okay. The question was on many Leicester's fans, and so, I'm going to bring back a slightly painful memory for you three guys, but we were after a certain winger that scored a winning goal past you in Adamona Luckman. I mean, look what he's done at Atalanta since he's gone there, and we were scratching our heads thinking 15 million. Why haven't we snapped him up? He got goals. He was assisting. He was probably the best right winger we'd seen since Mahrez had played there in terms of what he was actually capable of doing, and it all got shrouded in secrecy. Look, I love Top. Chris and Jack, I'm sure you're in agreement with that. There is not a single part of us that hates anything to do with our owners. We're not a Glazer out sort of thing like that. We're not an Enric out like the Spuds are. But there's certain things that maybe his naivety that he wasn't able to do and learn, due to the unfortunate timing of his father's tragic passing, taking on the business, the COVID and everything. And we understand that. We take it all on board as Leicester fans that he's had a hell of a lot to deal with, him and his family. But it was an absolute mess. I mean, it was like trying to find the one red Skittle in a bag of blue and greens, and you just couldn't find it. You couldn't find the answers, and we were left in the dark. And ultimately, I don't think losing Schmeichel is a big part in it, because I agree with Chris. He's 30-odd years of age. I mean, I think at Nice, his first 10 games, he'd conceded about 40 goals. They were losing 4-0, 5-0, 3-1s and whatnot. He had a torrid time. So I think it was fair to pass the torch. One team doesn't make one player doesn't make a team, and losing one player doesn't collapse a team. The team collapsed because the mistrust was gone.
Fair enough.
I think that's the biggest section of it.
Are you, Chris, Jack, are you both in agreement? Like, one player doesn't make you bad or anything like that? Obviously, with Schmeichel, do you think it is more of an underlying issue than just losing Kasper Schmeichel?
For me, I think... Sorry, Jack, go on.
There's a lot more to it. Losing one player doesn't do what's happening now. Something's happening from top to bottom, and it needs clearing. There's been a lot of blame on John Rutkin. Top's trusted them since being in Thailand, him and Whelan. They've let him down massively, I feel. Brendan fell out with numerous of players. Vardy, Dennis Pratt, Seunchu. List goes on like he does at every club, like he fell out with Daniel Agger at Liverpool. There's a lot happening at Leicester. But I just feel now that coming near the end of the season that most of the players are looking at moves. I mean, most of them are out of contract. Amarte, Seunchu. Players like that. Barnes has been linked elsewhere. Madison, 5 or 6 clubs are after him. Tillemans out of contract again. I just feel now that the fight is like focused elsewhere. I mean, reading Harvey Barnes' interview on Sky yesterday, that he said they asked him about the relegation battle and all this crap, and he said it on about the players that are contracted line. I'm just thinking, well, why are you going on about that? You should be talking about what's going on the field, not focusing yourself to the summer when that doesn't matter at the minute. You know, you've got to galvanise the team. It just feels like a mass of the players now are too focused on where the big are going to go in the summer to other clubs. Yeah,
fair enough. Chris, again, obviously, what's your thoughts?
There's a lot to it. Last season we papered over the cracks, and I think, like I say, last season was very similar to that last season before we went down to League One. If we look at last season, it was a lot worse than it looked to be at the end. We'd got to a semi-final of a European competition. We finished 8th, but in fairness, it was a shit season. You know, we were fighting relegation until the last few games. We had a reasonably easy run in. We then didn't have the budget to go and buy anybody in the summer. And I understand that with Top, because we'd been warned by UEFA about our FFP. Now, the position we were in was that we'd just finished, 5th twice, and then we'd say we'd finished 8th. We were hoping possibly for Europe again. So if we didn't sort it out, then we couldn't, if we'd qualified for Europe, we would have been kicked out. So we had to do something. We'd already got the full squad of 25 players. We couldn't get rid of them because over the years, bad management had been given very average players very high wages, and nobody would match their wages. Hashtag Vestergaard. And, you look at this and, it's very much not just one thing, And then we started the season badly. Top, what Brad was saying before, love him to bits, but he mishandled the position so much. He did not come out and say that reason until the programme notes for the Man United game, which was on transfer deadline day. So up until that point, we were all thinking as fans, what the bloody hell's going on? Why aren't we playing anybody? What's happened to this rebuild that Roger did? So we were all that negative that by the time he came out and said that, it was like, well, fuck off, he should have told us at the start of the season, which had he done, you wouldn't have had that kind of negative feeling around. We then started the season off really, really badly. We were then told that this great set-piece coach was going to solve all our problems. We then had a good run up until the World Cup, which was, again, false dawn because the teams we were playing are teams that we should have really been beating anyway. So he kind of should have gone then and he didn't. Came back from the World Cup, got a decent couple of runs. We then bought some players in January. He should have gone then, but we thought suddenly, he's got his players in, it might go right. And then Top left it too late because he felt guilty, supposedly, because he didn't back Brendan in the summer. So he felt guilty. So, and I've got to say here, Lion, this is going to hurt, but I have a massive apology to all the Liverpool fans who said Brendan Rodgers is a 2-3 season manager. And I was saying, give him an extra season. Nobody's given him that chance. Bloody hell, was I wrong?
Chris.
Come on, the guy's a bell end. He blamed everybody. He blamed everybody but himself. He was never. I'm talking to the converted here, aren't I? You know what he was like. So there's all that gone into, an owner who was distracted, an owner who was let down by the people in John Rudkin and Susan Whelan, like Jack said, who should have supported him, and a manager who the best thing he could have done was throw himself under a train, and he didn't. And if he had done, he'd have probably blamed the train driver for not looking for him. That's the situation we've been in.
Oh dear.
News at 10, Liverpool. Anyway.
Oh dear. Cheating bastard reminded me of like a schoolboy ready to ask a question. He had his hand up like that, waiting patiently.
Oh, he wanted to go toilet, actually.
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
Bloody hell. If he's gone back in school, I'll wait for his red apple to come on your desk, Stephen.
I was trying for once. I was trying for once to be polite. I didn't want to
Go on, what were you going to say, mate?
I'm just going to be nice.
Hurry up.
Go on then.
You should be bloody prick, right?
Hurry up, man.
Shut the fuck up.
Hurry up.
God, get the question out.
I understood that.
Hurry up, it'll be Monday. It'll be, what, full time by the time you flipping
Will
finish.
you not be fucking talking shit up, Will?
Hurry up.
You fucking cheating cunt.
You see, the abuse, yeah? The abuse. Hurry up.
Can I just say, the little woman that's been doing me sign language has just fainted.
Yeah.
What? You do my fucking tits in.
Right, ask you a question because you're going to forget now.
I nearly did forget, actually. No. Go back to... actually, I forgot the second part.
Goalkeeper. As soon as you heard Darren Ward or Schmeichel, you started to go mad.
Danny Ward, yeah.
Please. Hurry up.
I forgot the second part of the question.
Fucking
right. No, I've got it back. In terms of Schmeichel, I do think Schmeichel is a big reason as to why Leicester are having such a bad season. Now, I understand what one of the guys said. He's 30 years old. Take me off big screen right fucking now.
Keep it on. Keep it on.
Take me off at 90.
Just ask the question.
Look,
all right, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit. I'll join the big screen. This is John Takeover.
Hurry up, you soggy Weetabix.
Come on, Uncle Fester, hurry up.
The guy says, but you swore I got there because I get to hear fucking.
Come on, Goldilocks and free airs, get your sentence out.
I've got a page while I'm waiting.
The guy said about Schmeichel being 30 years old. 30 years old for a goalkeeper is actually very young. You actually think about the goalkeepers that played throughout the years. There have been goalkeepers playing up until their 40-odds. So that is a really young age for a goalkeeper. And in terms of owner, what I want to ask the Leicester guys is, do you think that he has the same love and passion for Leicester Football Club that his father had? Now, unfortunately, his father did go through a very horrific death, and may he rest in peace. But I just don't see the same love and passion towards Leicester as what his father had.
Well, the thing is,
I can take me off the main screen, please.
Yeah, will do.
It's more fun to keep him there.
I know.
I mean, I don't know if Chris or Jack want to take over the owner part of that question. So I've been given the goalkeeper responsibility. So I'll answer the Schmeichel point. Yeah, most goalkeepers can play later into their life. As a goalkeeper, they have an extended career. And it's a luxury in case of not having to run up and down the pitch for 90 minutes that they can play it long. But realistically, I'm thinking, when was the last time you saw a decent standard goalkeeper playing the Premiership that was late 30s? Edwin van der Sar, maybe? Was he in his 30s?
Van der Sar was in his 30s.
Van der Sar was in his 40s, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's probably the last Premier League goalkeeper of any high quality standard to do it. And the thing is, right?
Seaman? What about David Seaman?
Yeah, he was.
I mean, yeah, but there's
Van der Sar was a legend. I mean, you know, some keepers or some they have that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for me, it's not, even if you took the age equation out of it, there was a lot of things about Schmeichel that we don't, that were bad, that we didn't like, that was a weakness of him. Like, he couldn't kick. I mean, how wide and how long is a football pitch? Because I don't think Schmeichel has ever managed to kick a ball, keep it in play. I mean, the one thing that infuriated us is he'd take a goal kicking it, be like, well, that's a throw-in then. Because he always kicked it out of play. I don't know how he couldn't keep it in a pitch which was 100 yards by 100 yards or whatever the pitch dynamics was. But for every good thing that Schmeichel did, every goalkeeper's also different as well. And Chris kind of said it in his point about the last season. It papered over the cracks. Funny enough, this time last year, we were playing the likes of Evertons and Leeds and Villas who were down there under Steven Gerrard. And Chris will mock and say my personal hero, Frank Lampard, but he's not. He's a waste of space. We're not getting away with that this season. But the goalkeepers are all different. And for me, Schmeichel was dropping that form. He was actually, in most of our post-match shows that we were doing, we was probably going, Schmeichel's at fault for that. Schmeichel's not getting there. He wasn't covering ground as quick as he used to be. And for every pro that Schmeichel had, he was exactly like his dad. He made, for a small goalkeeper, he made that goal look very tiny. He made himself look very big. He was a very good reaction goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Last season, we saw him lose that. Not to a quality that he wouldn't still get into like a bottom half Premier League team. The irony, we're in the relegation zone, and I'm saying that. But you know what I mean? Like, you're looking at terms of on paper and where we were at that point. He could have got into a Premiership team still. But for Leicester's ambitions and what the actual aim was and where we were expecting to propel ourselves, we needed a better standard of goalkeeper to do that, because he's losing his weight and he's only going to go one way, I'm afraid. I mean, people said, "Oh, we should have brought him back. We should have got him back from Nice." No, once a player of that caliber, who we held in such a high esteem, starts to go so far downwards in comparison to where they were. I mean, he peaked, let's face it, in that Premier League season, he probably peaked. And maybe the season afterwards was another decent one for him because it had the Champions League, right? But after that, you only start going in one way in your career, and that's whether you're a defender, goalkeeper, striker, midfielder, doesn't matter. You only start decreasing. And unfortunately, he did.
Well, we do miss.
Why have you not got rid of Vardy?
Sorry.
Because Vardy's like Haaland's, father, so he's just not human. That's how that works.
I just want to pick up on, sorry, just to come in there. I just want to pick up on He because he seems to be having this hate campaign against Danny Ward. He said Danny Ward is at fault for our place in the table, and I have to admit Smithers is better than Ward. I mean, wobble your head, He. I mean, really, seriously, as a Leicester fan, do you know Gorinda by any chance? I mean, I'm sorry. We miss Schmeichel only in one thing, and that's his leadership. We miss that voice. We miss that command on the field and in the dressing room as well. But as a goalkeeper, whatever age he's at, he's past it. But to say that Danny Ward is at fault for our place in the table, no. I'm sorry. One person is not at fault for our place in the table. Like I've said, do you think if we'd have got, Gordon Banks in his prime, Peter Shilton in his prime, I'd not had a defence in front of him, that they would have been able to stop every shot that came at them? And of course they bloody wouldn't. Of course they bloody would. I mean, it's a team game for a reason. Yeah. There's no Iron team, just as there's no Danny Ward in team. Yes, he was played badly, and maybe, like I said earlier, he should have been taken out of the spotlight sooner. But it wasn't just him. In regard to the owner thing, I was worried when, and God rest his. Yes, I do. I've still got a seal bar left. I'm not. We have a seal bar because Brendan Rodgers used to clap like a seal at the and you can get seal bars from Aldi, and I got a packet. I've still got one left. I will save that. But no, in regards to the owner, I don't know if Jack will agree, but I was worried when he passed, and rest in peace, that Pop could have easily walked away. He could have easily said, "Look, I can't handle this." But let's not forget, and I blame Top for a few things, as I said earlier, but that's because he's the figurehead at the top. His brother is vice chairman. He's got his brother in there. His sister's also on the board in some way or another.
His mum's as well.
And you've got to say, COVID did affect him because his business, he's not owned by oil. He hasn't got a couple of other football franchises or whatever it is in America. His business is airports and hotels and duty free. So during COVID, yes, it was totally blown out the water.
They were probably hit most. They were probably hit the hardest.
Exactly. And we do have to take that into account. And yes, we've got to take the fact that he should have, his mind was elsewhere. But he should have been shouting at Susan Whelan and John Rudkin and saying, "What the fuck's going on?" Sorry, I've been with CB too long. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Don't worry.
He should have been saying, "What the fuck's going on at the football club? You guys are supposed to be running it for me." So you could argue. I can't argue that. The thing I think, if each had still been in charge, maybe Rodgers wouldn't have been there as long. But that's experience, Yeah. But look, if we go down, and it looks like we will do, and I don't know if Jack will feel the same, look at what's happened to Derby. They nearly went out of business. You know, we went out of business once. We nearly went out of business twice had it not been for Mandrich. I don't want to be like Bury. I worked in Bury for 2 years. I know what that football club meant to them. If we go down and still got a prosperous football club, which we have, and his commitment to that club was by, he's just paid off £192 million debt that we, wiped it off for us. Very decent of him. I'd sooner go down with a club than try and stay up and end up like Leeds United and, be at the point of going out of business again.
Fair enough.
And if I could just add a little sentimental point to that, when they first took over, they actually did an interview with them, and Top's first experience, because he was asked why Leicester City, as all new owners, or why did you pick that club? And he actually said, my first experience of the English football game, I watched the Leicester Middlesbrough Coca-Cola Cup final, and I just loved them. I loved them from them. And so to answer that about his passion, I don't think he's ever lacked the passion for it. I just think mentally he's checking out a little bit, and he's just finding himself a little bit now. But he has generally always had heart about Leicester, the community as well. I'd never ever allow anybody to question his passion. Not in the sense like cheating bastard, because he's obviously just inquiring and asking it. You know how I mean it. His first experience of English football was that League Cup final, and that's it. When I convinced my dad to buy a football team, I said I want it to be that club because that's a memory, and he's always had a fondness for us. So that kind of, maybe if anyone's ever thought about questioning his passion, and certain Brian and Gorindas, if they're watching, they might want to take note on our owners. But that's where they came from.
Interesting factor, and I can't remember. An ex-employee, and you might be able to contradict this if it's wrong, but didn't Abramovich look at Leicester before he bought Chelsea?
Yes, he did look at us. Yeah. I think he just saw the colour blue. It was like Robinho signing for Man City.
Yeah. Let's just get through a few. There's a few questions for you, Leicester City lads. So I'm just going to get through these before we go into our lineups, or what you think the lineups may be. So I think there's about 5 questions in all. So who wants to answer this question here from K-Mac? I don't know if he's still in, but just what you guys think of that.
It's just the way of the world, really. It's just unfortunate and it's sad. I think when you're because West Ham are quite community based, aren't they, in terms of their fans, and that are very, very passionate, very built into the things, and they take a lot to heart, and they like to rally together. And I think we felt the knock-on effect of it, knock-on effect, and seeing our club in such a disarray and a state, it has had that knock-on effect, and unfortunately for us, it's filtered through every department. I think that's just where it is. It's just a little bit coincidental, but it is something that I think it shows the love and commitment and care that is, or was at least, around that club at the point, because they're trying to pick themselves up as a whole and not individuals.
Fair enough.
I'd have West Ham season now, though.
Fair.
Yeah. Well, yeah, true. At least we know what he's saying.
Here's another question. I'll ask Jack this. Jack, I don't know if you can see this. Question for Leicester fans: what do you think of young Sam Hughes? So, Jack, I'll ask you that one. There's a few more, but I'll get through them. So, Jack.
Sam Hughes?
Yeah.
Yeah, decent player. He's still got a lot to learn in the game, but yeah, good player. He's got potential like every young player has. So, yeah, I think he's just got to be given the chance, and he prove himself when given the opportunity. And I think if he does that, then I think there'll be quite a few teams who will obviously give him the chance and that. And decent prospect.
Fair enough, Chris. This one, I'll ask you this one. This one's from He. I have another question, Leicester fans. If Vichai was still here, do you think Brendan Rodgers would have gone last season?
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of answered that before, didn't I? I think I don't know that he'd gone last season, but he would have certainly gone, I think, pre-World Cup.
He'd been gone ages ago.
Fair enough. CB, I know you've got a question to ask, but let me just get through these, and then I think you've got a question to ask, have you?
Yes.
All right, just give us a minute. There's a few people in the chat that have asked questions. That's all. So while we've got the Leicester fans on, so Brad's this one from Leicester for Life. Thank you for this. What was the reason Söyüncü wasn't playing with Rodgers in? What was your opinion on that, mate?
My opinion is because Brendan Rodgers is a tosser. But maybe from a manager's perspective, this is how I see it. The thing is, Brendan Rodgers seems to want you to be committed, which is a fair assumption to make as a manager, right? If you've got any team or whatever it is, you want to know your players that are committed. And when he was probably under the impression that he's going to need to sell if he wants a transfer budget, he was going to look at players with their contracts and go, right, who wants to be here? Right, Söyüncü keeps wanting to leave. Atletico Madrid eventually happened for him. I'll get rid of him. And, there was Jestergaard, who we tried to flog off to Fulham.
Jestergaard.
Yeah.
I love that one. Jestergaard.
Bertrand, we can't get out of the Royal Infirmary. In fact, he's paying rent to live there, so we couldn't get rid of him either, And I think Rodgers kind of looked at the team and went, right, if you're not committing yourself to this club and you're not going to stay at this club past the next year, because that's when your contracts run out, you're not getting in this team. No matter how well you train, no matter what you do, it's personal, not professional. And that is, personally, I don't think you're committed to the club I'm managing, so I don't want nothing to do with you. Whereas Dean Smith, who is an interim, he's not got a 2-year contract, and he's an interim, so he's like, that's not my business. And he's come out and said that when he's been asked about it. He's straight up gone, that's not my business. He's looking at it as a professional more than a personal thing. And he's gone, I think it was Chris that said John Terry, one of the first things John Terry said to him is, fuck me, what's this guy doing not in the team? He's working his knackers off. And I think, maybe being in that position helps Dean Smith, that he doesn't have to worry about, doesn't potentially have to worry about these players in the future, because he's not, unless he keeps us up, then he might get the job full time, and I think he deserve it. And I don't think, Jack and Chris would disagree with me on that statement. If he kept us up, he'd probably be given a chance. But I think Dean Smith's just gone, well, if you're going to put your effort in, kid, get in the team. And, we've seen it. I think in the last, all right, take the Fulham game out of it, because nobody got man of the match. It wasn't worth doing apart from the fans that went. They deserve the credit for that game. In the games that Dean Smith's been in charge, 3 out of 4 of them, Söyüncü's won man of the match.
Yeah.
And it just shows, and I think that's the biggest reason why Söyüncü wasn't picked, is personal. It got personal, and Brendan Rodgers is a tosser.
Yeah.
That's the 2 big talking points
Fair
behind
enough.
why Söyüncü wasn't playing.
I'd be more worried of what John Terry's trying to do with the players' wives than anything else at this moment in time.
We're hoping that's what he's threatening to do to the wives if they don't stay up. So
either way, someone is going to get fucked, aren't they?
Vardy was back in court. He'll have another ex-professional in court. Oh dear.
Chris, I'll come to you on this question again. He's keep on coming with these questions, so appreciate. Obviously, I'll get Baz and obviously Cheating Bastard involved in a second. But Chris, what's your thoughts on this question? You have Leicester go down. Should you keep Dean Smith? You've obviously been linked with Russell Martin, the Swansea manager, used ex-Norwich City player. What's your thoughts on this?
Do you know what? Not another ex-Swansea manager. Look what the last one's just done to us. If we go down, the thing with Dean Smith is, would he have been welcomed as much as he was had it not been for the fact that he had, Craig Shakespeare with him, and obviously that spiked a lot of memories for the fans. If we go down, when you look at Dean Smith, okay, he was sacked by Norwich. Norwich was sat in 5th when they sacked him. That was very much a Watford move, so we'll never know whether he could. He was never going to keep them up when he went there, let's be honest. But, he's. When you look at what. Who's the guy at Brentford? Oh, my mind's
Thomas Frank.
He's ridden on what Dean Smith set up at Brentford.
Yeah. He
brought Villa up. He made Grealish a £1 billion player, whether you like him or not. He so yeah, he's got the pedigree. If he stays, I think he'll keep Shakespeare with him, and he's got the experience, and he knows the club. Will he keep John Terry? Possibly. John Terry said he didn't want to work again in football, and yet he's come back here. So who knows? Who knows? Yeah, I mean, look, he's got, or he's had sort of, 10 games or so that we'll have had by the end of the season to get to know the club. Why not give him the chance? I don't think there's anybody out there that's, he's got a club out of that division into the Premier League. So, I'd give him a chance. Because if we go down, we ain't going to get the likes of Potter and Frank and all that, coming to us.
Fair enough. Just the last question before we move on to the team lineups and how we would think both teams would line up. So, Jack, I'll come back to you again. Thank you for your question. One last question. If Maddison goes, which he is, who would you bring in? Alex, Scott, Tavernier, all options. Jack, what's your thoughts on that, mate?
It depends what division we're in, to be fair. At the minute, we look like we're headed to Championship. So if you replace Maddison, then it's going to be somewhat at Championship level, isn't it? It's got to be high quality Championship player. I don't think Alex Scott would be interested in Leicester if we went down to Championship. Neither Tavernier, to be fair. We've got, and then if we do stay in the Prem, then it swings roundabouts, doesn't it? To be fair, you can't say who you're going to replace Maddison with until the end of the season, knowing which league we're actually going to be in. Because there was talking the other day about Mr. Maguire was talking about Leicester's finances with this Marquise Bank that they keep taking loans out with, and he said that Marquise Bank will take parachute payments off Leicester and give them the remaining. In the end, but they said with Maddison and that, they won't have this sort of big pot, what fans think they will. It'll be a little pot of what's remaining of what Marquis Bank take. So it's going to be a bit weird with the financial settings at Leicester if we are to go down this season. So I think it's going to be difficult. But a big rebuild is what needs to be happening. And I think if it isn't with James Maddison, Harvey Barnes and players like that in the Championship, then we've just got to build again. So, Maddison's expected to leave in the summer. It's been said whether we stay up or we don't. So we're just going to pick our options wisely, and I hope Leicester City have actually got players in mind if these players are to leave in the summer window.
Fair enough. He's saying sorry for all the questions, lad. Not a problem. I like it. Obviously, we've got the fans on, so why not ask them as well? Cheating bastards, what's a question that you want to ask? I don't know if you'll still remember it now, but I wanted to get all them questions in that obviously everyone in the viewers had asked. So what was your question that you wanted to ask, mate?
No, but right. So obviously the viewers' question come before mine, 100%. My question was the Leicester guys. If Leicester do go down, could that actually be beneficial for yourselves? I think be more beneficial than staying up.
I think we're in a little bit of a blessed situation in a weird way, and these two are probably going to look at me like I'm on some form of drugs, but I'm not. But if you look at how Leicester have developed over the last few years, and I'm going to say some names that don't sit well with Leicester fans, but are players that you look at: Kieran Dewsbury-Hall, Luke Thomas, Ben Chilwell. That's just three I can think of right now. I'm sure there's more. The Sammy Braybrook this season, who until he got injured was looking like going in. We've got Alves in the reserves. We've got Brunt as well. Very good youngsters. We've been very good at bringing talents through our development system. Yeah. Iverson, the goalkeeper, currently our number one, another one. And it kind of tells off what you asked Jack about Maddison, and that is, it might depend on the division whether he's given that opportunity or not. But I don't think the replacements are that far out from where we think. I don't think we need to go searching for them. I think potentially with the success of some of our youth players that we've brought through in recent years. I mean, Chilwell's England's left back. Whether you think he's dog shite or not, he's getting in the national side and Chelsea team. Luke Thomas is a bit hot and cold with Leicester fans. He's a bit like Marmite, granted, but Dewsbury-Hall, Braybrook, you brought him in, give him that run. I don't see why we have to go and spend 40, 50 million, because minus the French Voldemort, we haven't really had to do that to replace these sort of players. And maybe the answer is staring us right in the face. And it wouldn't surprise me if someone like Dean Smith was given the job next season, regardless of what division we're in.
Yeah.
I mean, our next 3 performances will really back him. You know, if we go down fighting and we get 4 points or 3 points, we still go down, or but it looks like a team that he's got together, wanting to stay and fight for it, and we keep a few big names there. I don't see why he doesn't look at the under-23s and pick out the stars from that and then promote them. It could be just the sort of season we need, where the clear out is all about getting the wage bill down and actually trusting these youngsters. Trusting the youngsters.
Fair enough. There's just a couple more questions came in, so apologies. I just want to get onto these as well. So, Jack, so look, Minerals FC is asked a question for the Leicester lot: is Madders your only shining light?
Is our star player. Let's be honest, is our prize asset, should we call it, Maddison? And if Maddison turns up, and which he should, which he hasn't in the last few games, which, I don't know if he's got his mind elsewhere with like the new baby and all that come in, and but Maddison, he's your creator. He's the man who assists you the goals and gets goals as well. So when Maddison isn't playing, you can see like where was the creativity actually coming from, because Barnes isn't consistent enough when Maddison isn't at it. Do you know what I mean? He's your other creator, and if Barnes ain't doing it, then the team's like, well, what do we do here then? How are we actually gonna get goals and then create chances? And I think that's something we're lacking, because we rely on players like Barnes and Maddison in it to come good in games, and if they're not at it, then what do you do? Because I think Liverpool have that same situation with Salah and players like that, where then if they're not at it, then Liverpool are just thinking, what do we do? And I think Klopp's the same, and I think that's what frustrates managers as well.
No, fair enough. Right, just a couple more questions. Apologies, guys. We will get onto the team lineups in just a second. Thanks for answering that, Jack. Appreciate it. Brad, I'll come to you just while Chris is away there. Question: do you think we should start with Evans when Sionchu leaves next season, or bring in a young centre back, Brad?
No, I honestly don't. I love Evans. I think he's one that we need to use him now, like we did Wes Morgan. Wes Morgan spent the last 2, maybe even 3 years at Leicester, being that, we want to see this game out. We're going to chuck on a third sub, third defender. We're going to chuck him on. We did it in the FA Cup final. All right, nearly shot us in the foot, but I love VAR when a shoelace is offside and it works in your favour. But you know what I mean? His experience is what you need in the dressing room. I think if you're going to keep him around, maybe allow him to do his coaches. Is that some coaching badges? Is that something he wants to do? Keep him at the club for that. But in terms of next season, I mean, we've got FaZe. We're going to have Sutar. Because obviously he Sutar and just signed this window. I can't imagine even if we go down, we'd sell him. He come from a championship, so I'm sure he'll be up for the fight. FaZe again is a new signing. I don't know about Amarty's situation. Maybe it's a backup, but again, Brunt, a youngster, he's a defender. He's quite versatile. I think he can play in midfield at points. I don't necessarily think that's an area we need to strengthen. I think we've got our two starting players for that position. It's just a case of maybe if we're still in the Premiership, we don't want to be relying on someone like Amarty and Brunt coming in for potential injuries like we've suffered over the last few years. We might go out and buy a stock centre-back, if you will. Maybe we'll piss Steven Gerrard off and just sign Tyrone Mings. But you know what I mean? But I don't think it's hugely necessary for Evans to be playing
you want to go down.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just we'll get Chris back in because he's just got to get ready for his show. Chris, are you still there, mate?
I am, but I'm going to have to shoot off, mate.
No problem. Do you want to just quickly just plug your channel and just give us a quick prediction just before you go, mate?
Cheers, buddy. Yeah, Leicester Till I Die TV on most socials, LTID TV on YouTube. My prediction, believe it or not, is Leicester City 1, Liverpool 7. I think if you get an early go, Fulham can put 5 past us.
I thought you were joking, Chris, when you were telling me that. Yes.
No. Seriously, I think
we rewind. What was his prediction there?
7-1 Liverpool.
Jesus, that's normally your prediction. That, yeah.
Is that a wild fast sending off, Chris?
Don't repeat it.
Look, there's a Fulham can put 5 past us if the Liverpool that didn't play Forest turn up, then once you get a goal, I think you could literally wipe the floor with us. And I think the worrying thing with that is that our goal difference will go out the window as well. So
as far as playing, get us a couple.
Fingers crossed, mate. But Chris.
We need Steven Gerrard to slip over, don't we?
Oh,
hey, you're going too far.
Chris, it's been a pleasure, mate. Thank you for coming on,
guys. I'll see you at 9, Brad.
Mate, I won't be late. Don't worry. I've got my note from Steve. I've got my note from Steve from late anyway. 75 minutes a note.
Go and beat United to the top 4.
Fingers crossed, mate. But thanks for coming on.
You got me.
All the best. Cheers.
Big up, Chris.
And good luck.
Right, let's get on to our lineups. So obviously, Brad, you've got a show at 9 p.m. as well, and I want to have a drink as well. It's Friday evening after all, so why not?
Alcoholic?
Oh, you can talk.
Yeah.
So right, exactly. So Baz, I'll come to you.
Drink?
I'll come to you, mate. You've been really patient, so appreciate it. So, what would be your lineup for the game against Leicester on Monday evening, mate?
Same as last. To be fair, same as last. Ali in goal, Trent inverted, Robbo on the left. Ibu. Is Ibu fit?
Ibu's fit, yeah.
Yeah. So Ibu and Van Dijk. Midfield, I'd have Curtis Jones again. Fabinho played well last game, so he can stay in there. And do you know what? I'd put Harvey Elliott in this game.
Okay.
Put Harvey Elliott in this game. And then Salah. Salah on the right. Gakpo in the middle. And do you know what? I'll play Nunes in this game as well. Just to rough him up a little. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, that's my lineup.
Yeah. Right, fair enough. Jack, I'll come to yourself, mate. What lineup would you pick for Leicester City lining up against Liverpool on Monday evening, mate?
Iverson in goal. Castagna, Wout, Fast, Sionchu, Christensen. I can't see Luke Thomas playing. I think it will be Christensen. I'm going to go Papi Mendy. I think we need Mendy for this game. Telemans. And then I'm going to go for a free of Maddison, Barnes, and Maddison, Barnes, Patterson Daka, and Jamie Vardy.
Okay. Cheating bastards, over to you. How do you see us lining up?
I mean, I'm going to go a bit of a weird one. I've never won this team in my life.
Oh God! So this isn't happening then.
I'm going to go Joey Gomez.
You prick.
Ali in goal. Joey Gomez. Val, shut the fuck up, right?
What's up, man? Who's going to take your lineup seriously now?
Kick him fucking out and put him on mute or something, will he?
Put his hair back on, man. You know what I mean? He's just been chatting shit since he's had it. Off.
Go on, Fester.
Put this text on mute. Ali in goal. I'm going to go Joey Gomez. I'm going Matip and Van Dijk at the back. So I'm playing 3 at the back. I'm going Robbo on the left of the midfield.
Honestly.
Because he can drop back.
Been drinking too much.
Defense and make it a 4 at the back. When we're getting attacked. So I'm going to play my guy.
Oh,
my
God.
guy.
Who's he?
Curtis. The fabulous, the genius.
Hurry up, man.
Jones.
Oh, God's
my
sake.
guy.
Oh, my God. He's the opposite of the one that gets stung by bee and dies on my girl.
I'm playing Fab alongside him. And then Trent on the right. Up front, I'm playing Salah, Nunez, and Diaz.
Right, okay. Brad, what about you?
Iverson in goal. It's a tricky one because you want to be aggressive against Liverpool, but you don't want to leave yourself open.
Yes.
I'm going to go 3-5-2. I'm going to go Sutar, Faze, and Soyuncu as my back three. I'm going to go Christensen on the left. I'm going to go Ricardo on the right. I've not rated Castagne recently. He's been poor. Then I'll go in the middle three of Boubacar Samare, Kieran Dewsbury Hall, and Tillemans. And then I'm going Vardy and Daka up front. And the reason I'm going three at the back is more because Christensen's a great attacking wing back, but he has left us, exposed at the back because he gets too far forward sometimes. So I think the best way to stop that, short the back. We have the wing backs can push up and down that for 90 minutes. They've got great pace. They can do it all game, and we're chocker in the middle. So that's what I'll go with.
Fair enough. I think my lineup will be 4-3-3. I just don't think he changes it, in all honesty. So Ali in goal, Trent right back, Van Dijk, Konate, and Robbo. Fabinho, Curtis Jones, and Henderson, and then I think it'll be Salah, Diaz, and Jota up front. That's who I think my lineup will be anyway. Right, just before we close it here, we're just going to do our final predictions. So obviously we'll let the Leicester lads go first. So Brad, I'll come to you first. What prediction are you going with for Monday night's game?
Oh, why did you come to me first?
Sorry,
why?
Just answer the question, cheating bastard.
Oh, wow! Just for that remark, we're going to smash the 7. We're going to smash the 7-1.
I said answer the question.
Sorry. No, honestly, my heart wants us to say we'll give you a good game, and somehow we'll sneak it 2-1, but I think it'll be 3-1 Liverpool.
3-1, right? Okay. Jack, what about you? What's your prediction for Monday's game, mate?
Just go lower than 7, Jack, and I'll love you more than Chris.
I'll put that bet on 7-1 to Leicester. It won't be I'll be a millionaire after the game.
Be more odds on that than us winning the league, mate.
There'll be more chance of Chris turning the watch along off. This one's an ever so difficult game. Liverpool are unbeaten in 8, aren't they? 2 draws, 6 wins. I think this is the one where Mo Salah turns up, to be fair. Steve and Jota always loves a goal against Leicester. But then you've got Diaz, you've got Gakpo, you've got some crazy players who can turn up, innit? So we haven't got what you've got on the bench, do you know what I'm saying? So we can only, if we go too defensive on Monday night, then it could be a shit show. But I say it's the hope that kills you, innit? My heart says 2-1 to us. My head's going 4-0 Liverpool. I think Liverpool really turn up. I think if they get one against us to make it 1-0, then I think you're going to flatten us. So after the Fulham game, I can see really Liverpool beating us 4-0.
Fingers crossed.
I swear to God, if Wild Face ends up being the top goal scorer over the 2 games, I'm
right, don't you worry.
Exactly.
He'll have Salah down on his knees.
Fair enough. I hope so, because I'm doing the watch along for that. So hopefully, most of the watch alongs I've done has been 1 goal in it. So I'm hoping that it'd be a nice, comfortable evening, but it'll be difficult. Baz, I'll come to you because I know what Cheating Bastard's going to say anyway. He's very predictable. So, what you say, mate?
John, move your hand for a sec. Smile. You know what? I watched a horror film last night. Looks like John. It's called A Smile. It was made in 2022. Check it out, guys. Yeah, he's that woman. But anyway,
you're one baldy, cheating, granny, shagging, fucking David bastard.
I can't say what I want to say on air, but you know what?
How did an insult turn into family affairs at the same time?
Yeah.
I had granny, I had mother, I had baby. I was waiting for the pet dog to get involved.
He probably shagged a sheep and all.
No,
it's because John's from Alabama, isn't it? That's right.
Instead of doggy style, Baz goes sheep style.
Oh God! Anyway, Baz, before you were rudely interrupted,
absolutely, man. Flipping prick. Keep drinking, man. So yeah, to be honest with you, like I said, this is going to be this is the difficult game, man, and we're playing away to a team that needs to just turn up. It's squeaky bum time now. You get me? Like anyone can win this if they really want it. Yeah, they've got the home advantage. Yeah, you know they're not out there. So, you know they're not relegated or anything. They've got an opportunity, so I'll expect a fight from them. I think we will be breached a couple of times. I do think we will win it. I'm going for a 3-2 win. I think there's going to be a lot from Leicester. I think they're gonna show some fight, and that will set them up nicely for. I
tell you what, if we're going to lose a game, I don't mind it if it's a fight like that. I'll take that as long as we've still got a chance to stay up.
I really believe. Brad, I really believe you guys, you know what, we'll get out of this. I really believe, I'm hoping as well Everton go down there, I can see the two at the bottom are going to stay at the bottom, and I believe it's the ones above, like, the Leicester, Nottingham Forest and stuff like that, and Everton, what? Yeah.
Get on the phone to Klopp, you guys, and we'll make the enemy of our enemy is our friend. We'll beat you. Let us give you a quick cheeky kick in, and then we'll help relegate Everton. It'll be all right then, won't it? We'll all be on the same page then. A draw. Is that fair? Give you a draw. You at least take something from it.
I will tell you one thing. If we'd have missed out in Champions League football and it meant Everton relegated, I'd take that.
I'll tell you what, I don't know all these bad things to say about you, cheating bastard, but I like you. I think that's sense that. You miss out on Champions League and we'll relegate Everton. I'll take that with you as well, mate.
Oh, wait until you hear his prediction, Brad. Wait until you hear his
It was my dream to see Everton go down. My dream. But
fair enough. No, mate, I'm gonna go with mine before, because obviously we want to laugh just at the end.
Hurry up, Liam, will you?
Yeah. I don't know how you dare when you're bloody slower than a sloth, so you've got no chance. So yeah, my prediction is Leicester 1, Liverpool 3. Nice and simple. That's what I'm going with. Cheating bastards, go on then. Let everyone have a laugh now.
Yeah, leave the cat alone.
Let's just get comfy. Fuck with him, mate.
He's not Kurt Zuma.
Yeah, I'm not Kurt Zuma. Give me at least a small bit of respect, will you?
No respect for you, bro.
Right, and in your own words, hurry the fuck up.
You shut up, prick, right?
Hurry up.
I'm going Liverpool 7. I repeat, 7. Leicester, no.
We're away from home, by the way, so.
Well, fastest getting sent off then, definitely, if it's 7 now.
Fucking prick. You're one dirty fucking cheating ass prick. You fucking sheep shagging bastard.
I'm glad this is past the 16-second mark, because it'll be not monetized again. Oh dear. No, we'll leave it at that. Oh dear, it's comedy gold. It really is. That's one thing you're guaranteed on this channel. But thank you to my guests. We'll go down from the bottom first of all. Jack, first time on the show. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully get you back on again. But just let everyone know your YouTube channel, socials, etc., mate.
Go follow us at the final whistle. We do all content match preview we've got this weekend for the Liverpool game. Go and check that out on the channel. That'll be out. We'll be live Sunday for that. So, yeah, go and check that out. We do match reviews, match day vlogs, all that on the channel. Talk all things Leicester. Do the Premier League predictions as well if you're interested in the predictions.
Yeah.
Then come over to the channel. And, yeah, it should be an exciting game. Just don't hurt us too much if you want to hurt us. We're a bit frail at the minute, so you're gonna have to be a bit soft. I think it'll be a game full of goals at the week, Monday night. Well, we'll have to see what the results are Saturday and Sunday, depending on Everton, Forest, and Leeds. But yeah, Leicester, we're not confident as fans. If we turn up the way we did against Fulham and then we have all season, then we could expect a pasting on Monday night. But hopefully the players, I've listened to Dean Smith in that meeting on Tuesday, and we can turn it around. But it's the hope that kills you at the end of the day. And as a Leicester fan, I hope we stay up. But in my head, it's like, has the damage really been done now? And I think Liverpool could do that damage on Monday night if we don't turn up at all again.
I do believe you will get a good beating.
Yeah.
Against Liverpool.
We chat too much shit.
Really, I would never have guessed by your score prediction.
Would I be surprised to see Leicester turn us over? No.
Never say never.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
Never. There you go. Just said it.
Brad, always a pleasure having you on the channel, mate. I hope you've enjoyed it. Coming back on again, I'll definitely get you on again, mate. If you're up for a quiz, maybe against the cheating bastard, you're more than welcome to.
I beat the last game.
Yeah,
everyone beats him. Everyone beats him. So
yeah,
I whipped his ass the last.
No, I was in the chat when the quiz was on, where you had the connection and it spelled out the first letter was John's pass or something like that. Oh, wetting myself when you did that, Steve. When you did that to you, John.
You are a dirty, cheating fucking bastard.
But Brad, anyway, it's been a pleasure having you on. Just let everyone know your YouTube channel and socials, etc., mate.
Yeah, follow me on Twitter at Fulltime Focus. It's the best way to watch me sprout a load of nonsense and pretend I know what I'm talking about on football terms. My YouTube channel is Top 10 Battles. It's got quizzes on there. It's got top 10 videos, funny enough, because that's what it's all about. It's going through a change at the end of the footballing season, but stick with me, and it is coming back good, stronger than ever. Maybe a few footballing quizzes will be on there shortly. So yeah, if you go and check us out, show support, that'd be great. But make sure you go to all these guys' channels and Twitters and sort them out, because they're all a top laugh. And Steve does a brilliant job here, so I'm looking forward to being on your connections quiz. And my answer for the connections is John's a cheating cunt. That's my answer for it.
I love that one. I did love that one. He took it as
sheep shagging bastard.
He took it.
I'm not a Derby fan, mate. You can't call me a sheep shagger. I'm not Welsh.
Baz, always a pleasure, mate. Just let the viewers know where they can find yourself and subscribe to your great channel as well, mate.
Yeah, big up, man. Thanks for having me. Thank you to everyone in the chat. But yeah, you can find me on LVFC TV. That's my YouTube channel. Yeah, my socials are actually on there in the bio, so have a look. It's most of them are LVFC TV or Baz at LVFC TV. So yeah, check that out. But make sure you guys are, checking everyone else's channels out. Jack's, Brad's, not John's, Batman Stubbs. But yeah, big up, man.
Big up, no, appreciate it. And last but not least, the cheating bastard. Obviously got more hair probably on his chest or his back than he has on his hair right now. And I've seen more hair on a bowling ball than I have on your head right now. So just let the viewers know where they can find your YouTube channel.
Both his head and a bowling ball are in the gutter.
That trim's in the mud, man. It's worse than Leicester City's season.
You're a prick. I mean, he's taking more hers long and he's taking a cunt. I can't fucking win.
At least you've had a shave, you tramp, anyway.
I should be a fucking funny granny. But obviously, you said share it on my channel and everything else. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Refuse to do
Fuck
it.
my channel.
Yeah,
Here we go.
Literally, fuck my channel. After the 2nd of June, that is when I will promote my channel again.
Oh, dear.
2nd June, 7 p.m. Stop on Stubbs, 24 live stream. That Steve seems to keep fucking forgetting to say.
I'm going to do it in a minute. I'm just letting you plug your channel.
It is
I've got to go. Hurry up. I want to hear where I can go
You
get the
should
cheating
hear
bastard news.
You shut the fuck up, you cheating bastard. This is important. It is retarded. It's for the NHS and kids with autism. So please, I beg you, please do show up and please donate whatever you can.
Definitely.
So
yes,
raise charity for John's hair as well, man.
Yeah, definitely. We've got to get.
It's the John and Rooney Association fund.
Yeah, exactly. He wants that fake hair. He wants that fake hair. But no,
you're a prick.
Like I say, 2nd of June, it's going to be a 24-hour stream. So join us, even if you can just join us for an hour, couple of hours. It'll be absolutely fantastic. And like the cheating bastard said, it's for autism, kids with autism, and also the NHS superheroes, I believe, as well. So 2 great charities. If you can afford to put anything in, it would be absolutely fantastic. But join us as well. It's going to be a fun evening. This is just obviously a sneak peek. Obviously, you've seen the channel and stuff like that, so people have seen it, and hopefully we'll tune in. But we'll leave it at that because Brad's got another show at 9 o'clock. So thank you to Brad, Jack, Cheating Bastard, and Baz, and thank you to everyone watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Please hit that like button, subscribe to all the channels, and until next time, until Monday evening for the watch along, I've been your host, and enjoy your weekend. Cheers, everyone.
Bye, guys.